Meet Mona Kawaii, a stunning girl who turned heads from birth. And that's how it's been her whole life. Everyone was captivated by her charm. All wanted to be near her, even in hide and seek, hoping she'd find them. She was like the queen bee wherever she went. For high school, she moves to Tokyo, where it's the same old story. Everyone stares, enchanted by her beauty at school. All except Medaka, a new transfer student from 2 weeks ago. He's the only guy Mona's met who always scowls at her. Mona tries to befriend him, but Medaka just frowns and tells her to leave. The other boys are shocked and annoyed by Medaka's behavior. For Mona, this rejection is a blow to her queen bee status. But she doesn't give up and seeks ways to get closer to Medaka, aiming to win him over. She notices that Medaka likes cats, so she enters cat mode, making kitty gestures and purring at him. Her fans are delighted, but Medaka's the opposite, purring back to keep her distance. Mona's left stunned, and others can't believe it either. All her life since childhood, everyone fought for Mona's attention. She even received confessions, some from older people. She can't stand the thought of someone resisting her charms. But she doesn't think he's unbreakable, so she uses her secret weapons. First, her thighs, which drive boys crazy. She's putting up a poster showing off her legs in Medaka's face, but he just frowns and leaves. Mona's defeated again, but persists, now revealing a stronger asset, her underwear. She pretends to fall on purpose, and the boys around her worry. She acts clumsy and blushing, asking if they saw anything. The boys nervously say no, but Mona's just trying to see Medaka's reaction to her sexy clumsiness. He just frowns again and leaves. Mona realizes Medaka's immune to everything, so she resorts to her last trick. In class, Mona fakes being sick and asks the teacher if she can go to the infirmary. The teacher agrees and asks for a volunteer. Mona throws herself at Medaka, saying he'll go with her, shocking everyone. But this is Mona's plan, to corner Medaka and flirt with him. Mona's never gone this far for a boy, but seeing Medaka resist her, she'll do this to keep her reputation as the irresistible girl. Mona acts shy, asking if he dislikes her or if she did something wrong, since he always frowns and is distant with her. Mona finally seems to have Medaka cornered, seeing him nervous, but he suddenly regains his composure. Mona thinks she's got him, so she doesn't want to back down now. She pulls him inside, trips on the curtain, and they both fall onto the infirmary bed. This is too much even for Mona. She apologizes, but seeing Medaka's dismissive look, she can't take it. It's a blow to her pride. Medaka's unfazed, despite having the world's beauty on top of him. Blinded by the situation, she desperately shows her beauty, forcefully unbuttoning her blouse. Protecting her queen bee status makes her act uncharacteristically, yet Medaka remains stoic. Now Mona truly feels defeated. She's drowsy and throws a tantrum when someone resists her charms. In her fit, she nearly falls off the bed. Medaka catches her before she hits the floor and asks if she's alright. This calms Mona, but she realizes her chest is exposed and asks him to let go for a moment. Medaka snaps back, flustered, saying he didn't mean anything inappropriate. He frowns and says he'll return to the room. Before leaving, he tells Mona these things should only be done with someone she truly loves. His sincere words stir Mona's heart, leaving her flustered and wondering why she lets Medaka affect her so much. Later, Mona returns to class. Everyone asks if she's okay. She says yes, but feels Medaka's gaze from across the room. She thanks him for caring for her while sick, but can't look him in the eye due to nerves. Medaka's gaze follows her, making her even more anxious. Medaka's intense stare leaves her frozen in place. She thinks these nerves mean love, but denies it, hitting her head to stop such thoughts. Now she's determined to make Medaka fall for her, planning to capture his heart. Next day, Mona arrives at school, greeted as usual, mentally singing about her beauty. Medaka interrupts her. Mona greets him kindly, but he responds out of obligation. Mona's still annoyed that she's always giving her the stink eye. Medaka was frowning and Asahi blushed while looking at him. Her friend Minami asks what's wrong, but Asahi says it's nothing. In PE class, Mona seizes the chance to flaunt her physical assets. Everyone's watching her except Medaka. Mona tries to call him directly, but he ignores her. Once again, Mona fails to grab his attention. She tried with her butt and breasts, but it didn't work. Then she thinks of another weapon she has. No, not that extreme. Let's go back to episode 1. She's referring to her belly button. After class, she wipes sweat, lifting her shirt to show her midriff. While everyone feels blessed, Medaka frowns again. He leaves, repeating clear mind, pure spirit to himself over and over again. And once more, Mona is defeated. Spirits low, she pursues the only boy who resists her. She notices he gets nervous when she's near. A small win for Mona, but she's too tired to tease him more. Before leaving, she gets some water. Medaka sees her growing more anxious. Mona notices he seems to react to her. Excited, she squeezes the tap, splashing water everywhere. Her shirt gets soaked, revealing her bra. Medaka yells, red-faced. Mona screams, realizing she's exposed. She tries to cover up, but can't go back like this. Medaka, being a gentleman, gives her his shirt. Mona blushes more, especially seeing Medaka's abs. She wanted him to see her navel, but saw his instead. Mona thanks him, and Medaka leaves. A classmate witnessed the whole thing. Medaka heads home. He worries his shirt might smell of sweat. He blushes, thinking his shirt might now smell like Mona. That's when Mona's admirers show up. They want to ask Medaka why he's always cold and distant to Mona. So Medaka explains. Turns out he's heir to a temple, a feline temple, and he's forbidden from getting close to girls. They ask if he's ever had a girlfriend. Medaka says no. His village only had old folks and goats. I'd rather not imagine what desperate boys did with those goats. The admirers finally get why Medaka treats Mona that way. Medaka never thought the city would be a sea of temptations. He'd only seen cute girls like Mona on TV. Having one nearby and flirting with him no less, it makes him...
I didn't care anymore!
But no, Medaka shakes off any impure thoughts. He repeats to himself, clear mind, pure spirit. Medaka vows to live a life free from temptations and worldly thoughts, but it's going to be tough. In class, Mona returns his shirt. Medaka's a bit nervous. Mona seizes the chance to make him blush, saying she abused his shirt, asking if he'd have preferred she didn't, so his shirt would smell like her. Medaka blushes but frowns. Same old story. Now Mona aims to make Medaka fall for her. In art class, Mona's modeling for Medaka, who maintains a clear mind and focused spirit. Mona's willing to do anything for Medaka's painting, jokingly saying no nudes, but Medaka's face turns serious. Mona's master plan, model for Medaka to showcase her beauty, recalling how Medaka couldn't stop staring after sports. She recreates that same pose. Everyone's charmed by Mona's cuteness, but Medaka resists temptation like a champ. Mona's defeated again. Medaka paints normally, not blushing at all, which annoys Mona. She notices classmate Haruno staring for a while, then sees Medaka fixated on her too. Medaka focuses on Mona's neck to paint it, making Mona blush from the intense attention. Mona rushes out for air, wishing Medaka would look at her like that more often. Medaka finishes painting. Friends ask about the photo, making her blush. She keeps a clear mind. In the library, Mona approaches Medaka to read together. She notices Haruno still watching, but realizes he might not be looking at her, but at Medaka instead. She wonders if Haruno could be in love with Medaka, and considers that Medaka might like girls like Haruno. She feels she must act quickly to win Medaka's heart before someone else does. She decides to emulate Haruno, who's calm and studious. Putting on glasses, she reads elegantly, making Medaka blush. Mona goes all out, playfully tapping Medaka's leg. But Medaka stays focused, keeping a clear mind and spirit. Medaka ignores Mona again, defeating her. Mona notices Haruno's admiring gaze, confirming she's head over heels for Medaka. Mona gets defensive, not wanting to lose Medaka, so she scopes out her rival. She notices Haruno's a sweetheart, diligent, organized, and kind, basically perfect. Mona's anxiety grows, realizing her rival's great qualities. She checks for physical traits too, finding Haruno's got it all. Plus, Haruno's modest about her looks, unlike the self-centered Mona. Mona's bummed, realizing she's up against a sweet girl. Tough competition. The glasses guy brings Mona a book she wanted. She thanks him, saying she loves it. She realizes she's never told Medaka she loves him. So she tries. On the roof, she tosses her handkerchief for Medaka to catch, hoping to thank him. Just as she's about to confess her love, the words won't come out. No matter how hard she tries, she can't say, "I love you." She's too nervous. She wonders why it's so hard now when she said it easily before. The wind starts to pick up. Her skirt lifts and Mona seizes the chance to call him a pervert, escaping the awkward moment. In the end, nothing changed. Now they're picking members for the school festival committee. As fate would have it, Haruno and Mona are chosen. Mona can't believe she has to work with her rival, while Haruno seems delighted. This annoys Mona more, thinking Haruno doesn't see her as competition. Her queen bee instinct warns her about sweet, kind girls like Haruno. Haruno gets nervous, not wanting Mona to see her phone. Mona suspects Haruno's hiding something important, but Haruno says she'll get upset if she sees it. Mona chases her, yelling she won't be mad as long as Haruno doesn't try to take her Medaka. Mona catches up and checks Haruno's phone, finding it full of photos of herself. Haruno didn't want Mona to see this, fearing she'd be angry about being watched. It turns out Haruno was observing Mona because she's her biggest fan. She took about 300 photos and set one as her phone's lock screen. Mona realizes Haruno isn't interested in Medaka, but she'd been yelling at her to stay away from him. To avoid seeming obsessed with Medaka, Mona claims she meant Medaka fish, telling Haruno to stay away from her fish, not the Medaka in their class. But Haruno knows everything, having observed Mona's clear infatuation with Medaka all along. While it seems obvious, Mona doesn't want Haruno to think that.